Hi, my name's Phil, and in this video I'm going to show you how to cut the visor portion for this face shield. This is a 3DVerkstan design. It's a bit shorter to print on my printer, but that's 3DVerkstan. I'm using 7mm mylar. That's 0.007 inches thick. So you can go thicker for this design, but this is all I could source, and it works just fine due to these corner angles. Gives it a nice firmness, doesn't flop around too much. So what you're going to want to punch the visor is a Sharpie, a punch jig, and you can find this online if you search for the 3DVerkstan punch jig. This one was sliced to print on a smaller printer, so you can see it's joined in the middle. And what else do you need? A single hole punch I find is better. A triple hole punch will work, but it can be a bit tricky to make sure that it aligns properly. Some scissors as well. So let's get to it. Put this aside. We'll do the assembly after. So I've cut the mylar to roughly 10 inches, and it actually came by 11. So 10 by 11. The 11's good because that is the width that's supposed to be for this design. And we'll see that the template or the jig actually fits perfectly on here. So this mylar comes with a protective sheet. I have that on the bottom so that I'm going to be marking the mylar and not the sheet. Line this up along one edge, and then you want to take your Sharpie, and depending on what hole punch you have, you kind of want to see how far in you can place the holes. I'm looking at placing them about 3/4 of an inch in. And you don't want to do dots here because you're actually going to be punching 2 holes for each notch. So you want to do a little line right where you want to punch the holes, right where your hole punch is going to reach. And then you're done with this jig. You can take this off. Done with the Sharpie too. So now what you want to do with your hole punch is you want to punch 2 holes for every line, and you kind of want to get 1 hole on one end of the line and 1 hole on the other end of the line. Normally I would slide this off of the table, but you wouldn't be able to see it if I did that. I mean, that way the parts would just fall in the trash. But here I'm doing one end of the line, other end of the line. It'd be a bit difficult to retract, so you need 2 hands sometimes to retract it. And it's a bit easier to punch with the protective sheet on for some reason. You can see I'm punching 2 holes per line. Again, 1 hole on one end of the line, the other hole on the other end of the line. So you get these kind of holes that are the width of a 1.5 holes, I would think. There we go. Last 2 over here. Depending on your sanitization processes, you might want to do this with gloves. It's not the case here, obviously. There you go. So that's the holes punched. You can turn it over. If my hole punch is not that good, you end up with some bits to pluck off. Be careful that it's punched enough that these will come off. You don't want to put a big tear in the mylar or rip through to the edge. If you do find that something's a little more attached then you can rip off or twist off, then use an X-Acto knife or a razor or whatever really to cut it off. So there we have our holes. The next thing to do is to round off the bottom corners so that whoever is wearing the visor or the face shield will not hurt themselves on the bottom corners or hurt someone else when they turn. And this doesn't have to be exact, just has to be round. Eliminate that sharp edge. And there we have it. That's the face shield portion done. So we can go get our face shield frame, ditch the protective sheet, and start getting these onto the notches. You can start on one side, and there is a bit of give here. You can pull things tight if they don't quite fit. If they don't line up a bit, it'll still work. You'll just get a bit of a dent in the face shield, like there in the center. So next thing to do is to fix an elastic to go around the back, or two elastics as it were. And there you have it.